Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation. My name is Wayne Walder, and I'm the minister here at the congregation, and I have your announcements. Coming to Neighborhood on Tuesday the 15th, we have a winter blues service. It's a meditative type service from 7 to about 8:30 p.m. That would be this week Tuesday. It's an evening service to honor the sadder feelings we sometimes have in the season that don't get really communicated very often. And on Sunday the 27th, Neighborhood Slice of Life. It's our 20th anniversary. And from 7 to 8:30, join us for music and a little bit of ritual. We're going to share some recipes. I've got a good pie one. Great pumpkin pie, and photos and anything else that you might want to share. And you might want to bring something to eat as well while we come together. Tuesday the 15th, the Spirit Choir Song Circle from 7 to 8:30. Our theme this month of lighting our way home, all are welcome. Wednesday, conscious movement classes from 10:15 to 11:30 a.m. with Phyllis. Please contact Phyllis if you have any questions. Also on Wednesday in the evening, there's meditation every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 with myself and Jillian Heggie. For beginners or intermediates, we start at 7:30. We end pretty promptly at 8:30. Wednesday and Thursday, the Sandwich Sisters. We can fight poverty by preparing sandwiches for local charities, supported by our Social and Environmental Action Committee. And Suzanne, our music director, has details for that. If you'd like to connect with her, please do. Sunday Child Caregiver Program with Zach goes from 9 to 9:30 a.m. It's just before our regular Sunday service, and it's in the same address, the same Zoom address space. And until December 25th, maybe December 24th, I guess, you can buy a tree and support Out of the Cold. They're on sale at 310 Danforth, just outside the Jackman Street entrance there. Suzanne and Dina are also taking the lead for that in our congregation. Volunteers are also needed for weekends, and you can take a look at our Monday mailing to take a look at it. And that might help you if you want to volunteer. Also, the Out of the Cold program on Fridays has been something that that doesn't need volunteers now, but keep it in mind in case you want to volunteer in the new year. Our Social and Environmental Action Committee, that's C, will meet on Wednesday, December 16th. That's this Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. to share the latest opportunities for joining with our multi-faith partners in taking action for the care of our world. Yeah, just check it out. Lifespan Learning needs you, it really does. Every once in a while, we need a turnover on our committees. These times we live in are challenging, and now more than ever, we need your ideas as well as your input to keep our program fresh and inviting. Also, as we head into the new year and look forward to co-creating a dynamic program for our new home, we're going to need some people to help us kind of understand how it all fits. We hope you'll consider joining the committee as your way of giving to our community. And if you can contact with any of these people, Deb or Phyllis or Tara Rose, Zach, Jessica, Kim, Gail, or Joan. And of course, you can just connect it up at Lifespan Learning NUUC or speak to Zach Getschell. The Spirit Choir video editor wanted. The Spirit Choir needs a volunteer video editor to create videos for our services. We've had some wonderful videos in the past, and I wanted to thank both Peter and Kathy and Gordon for helping us do that in the past. They were fabulous videos. If you have skills in this area and an interest to help out, please contact Suzanne Nazars, music@nuuc.ca. Next Sunday, our theme is Winter Solstice. I think there'll be other people besides me being part of that service, and the music will be by the Spirit Choir.
Thank you, Wayne. And good morning. Welcome to the Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation service on Zoom. We welcome you here as we want to stay emotionally and spiritually close in these times when we must be physically apart. My name is Allison Kabayama, and I will be your virtual service leader this morning from home. Our minister, the Reverend Wayne Walder, is in his home, as is our facilitator of the Child Caregiver Sunday program, Zach Getschell. Also joining us from the Danforth Jewish Circle this morning, we're so fortunate to have Rabbi Miriam Margles and Cantor Lisa Kent and her husband, Danny Greenspoon, from joining us from their respective homes. Our musical director, Suzanne Mazars, is having the morning off. We also have Gordon Thorne and Catherine Campbell, who are taking care of the Zoom web hosting duties, and I thank all of them. Some etiquette to be aware of: just please keep your microphone muted and don't send chat messages addressed to everyone. But if you do keep your chat open, you will see readings and lyrics which will be posted. We will also offer breakout rooms at the end so that we'll have a chance to talk to each other then. This service is being recorded for the public both on YouTube and our new website. Although joys and concerns and similar personal moments will be edited out, if you still have privacy concerns, now would be a good time to turn off your camera and rename yourself. Sacred space and cyberspace can be strange bedfellows, and we need your help to bring them together. Now, we have nowhere else to go and nothing else to do. Please shut off any apps that might distract and be present. This is our threshold moment. Let's enter sacred space together. Let our service begin now. As we light our chalice, I encourage you to light your own personal chalice or candle, or consider holding your hands in the shape of a chalice. I will light our chalice as we hear our chalice lighting song.
We light this chalice to remember, to light the fire within our own hearts.
And now for our prelude. I'd like to ask Lisa, would you introduce it?
Yes, I would. Thank you, Allison. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you today. I'm going to talk a little bit about Hanukkah. Hanukkah is about miracles. The story of Hanukkah began in the year 167 BCE, when the Greek governor of the land of Israel, Antiochus, outlawed the practice of Judaism. The uprising that followed, led by a small army that called itself the Maccabees, threw off Greek rule and reestablished religious freedom. That was the first miracle. Centuries later, the Talmud would relate the legendary story that when the Maccabees re-entered the desecrated temple in Jerusalem, they found only enough purified oil to relight the Ner Tamid, the eternal flame, for one night. Yet, the oil burned for 8 nights, giving them time to prepare more oil to keep the lamp lit. Another miracle. On Hanukkah, also called the Festival of Lights, we celebrate these miracles and we eat a lot of food fried in oil. Potato latkes or pancakes. The house smells for days. And donuts filled with jelly. The Chanukah holds 9 candles, one for each of the 8 nights of Hanukkah, and one additional helper candle that's used to light the others. It's set like this because tonight is the 4th night of Hanukkah, so we will light 4. And 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th night, they'll all be lit. What's the meaning of Hanukkah? Religious liberty, the right of the Jewish people to worship freely and engage in Jewish practice. Chanukah means dedication. It took faith to light the lamp with only 1 day of oil. What will happen a day from now? We don't know. Maybe God will work a miracle, or maybe not. But we need to light this candle in the darkness. The message here is have faith. And even when you can't see the light, don't give up. Many Jewish holidays begin on the full moon, but Hanukkah begins when the moon has all but disappeared. We're in one of the darkest months in the midst of a very dark year. The world needs a lot of light. We need a lot of light. What can we do? We must be the candles. We light a fire, one, then the next, and so forth for 8 nights. This light is to rekindle our own light and to shine it out into the world. The light of the candles reminds us that the world is full of hope and spirit and potential. Nerli means my candle. Nerli, nerli, nerli dakik, b'Chanukah neri adlik, b'Chanukah neri yair, b'Chanukah shirim ashir. I have a candle so light. On Chanukah, my candle burns bright. On Chanukah, its light burns long. On Chanukah, I sing this song, lighting little candles, watching their glow, singing happy songs while the candles burn low. On Chanukah, their light burns long. On Chanukah, I sing this song. On Chanukah, I sing this song.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. And good morning to everyone. During these isolation times, most of us are in our own homes. Winter is the time of the year when I feel especially grateful for my home. Let us remember that these homes are on the traditional lands and territories of the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Mississauga, the Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa nations. Indigenous peoples have been acknowledging the land at the start of gatherings, ceremonies, and events for time immemorial. Using and participating in a land acknowledgement is a way to recognize the enduring presence and resilience of Indigenous peoples, and it is also a reminder that we are all accountable to these relationships. If you are visiting us for the first time, we extend a special welcome to you. Please stay around after service when you'll have a chance to talk to our minister about who we are and what we do. Please note that our services can be very different from week to week, and we hope that you will come again. Our mission at Neighbourhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. The theme of the month is Lighting Our Way Home, and our theme for today is Hanukkah lights. When I thought about the theme of this service and this month, I pondered about Hanukkah, the 8-day wintertime festival of lights, celebrated with nightly menorah lightings, special prayers, and fried foods, as Lisa let us know. And that it does mean dedication, and thus named because it celebrates the dedication of the Holy Temple. Zach will tell us more about the story of Hanukkah later in the service. What if we rededicated ourselves to our higher callings and believed in the possibility of miracle as we navigate the contradictions between the physical corporeal world and the spiritual, and attempt to walk a spiritual path in the real world? For Unitarian Universalists, the 7 days of Chanukah ends today, when some of us have been reflecting upon the meaning of our 7 principles, one for each day, and lighting a chalice might be part of this. It is hoped that one can do at least one deed per day which aligns with the principle of the day. Today is the 7th day, and our 7th principle that we affirm and promote is to respect the independent web of existence of which we are a part. So how wonderful it is that we do not exist in total isolation. How special our deepening relationship with the Danforth Jewish Circle as we share space and governance at Eastminster, and that Rabbi Miriam and Lisa are here to share in the message of inspiration and to provide our music this morning. May our wandering journey end soon. May we gather together with old friends and new. May we ponder and reflect upon our inner selves and how we can move forth in life for the betterment of ourselves and to light the way for others in the world. As Unitarians, our readings can come from many different sources, and today I've chosen something by Rumi, who wrote, "Journeys bring power and love back into you. If you can't go somewhere, move in the passageways of the self. They are like shafts of light, always changing, and you change when you explore them." Traditionally, at this time in the service, we would ask you to turn to your neighbor and greet them. In this virtual space, this will happen a bit differently, so briefly unmute your device and offer a greeting. You have 1 minute, and we will sound a chime at the end. Now take a moment to greet the neighbors around you in gallery.
Hi, Peter. Hi, Kurt.
Hello, Wayne.
Lisa. Hello, Danny.
Peter.
Hi,
everybody. Hi, Dolly.
Hi,
Everyone.
Karen.
Doug.
Hi. Oh,
Lisa
Kurt.
and Danny.
Connie and Jerry.
And Miriam.
Lisa and Danny.
And hey.
Hi,
Chris and
Rabbi.
Mary.
Wait, my camera's
Hi.
off.
Hi,
Lovely to meet
Kurt.
everyone.
Jennifer.
Julie.
Hey,
Mary and Bruce.
Hi, Dolly.
Adamo, Rabbi Miriam.
Ingrid.
Welcome,
Hi,
everybody.
Bill.
Hi,
Lisa
everyone.
Mary.
Anna.
Sarah.
Good morning.
Nancy.
Steve. Hello.
Hi, Veronica.
Jennifer.
Hey,
Chris and
Terry.
Let's see.
Hi.
Good morning.
Now I invite you to join me in reading our opening words, which will appear in chat. If you're on the phone, follow my words and memory will fill in the rest. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here. A space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit for ourselves and our families. Now, as we hold this place open to grace and insight, let's join Lisa for our opening song.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh. The world will be built with love. is from Psalm 89. I want you to sing it with me. Danny, can I have it? So repeat after me. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. The ta-na-nais all stay the same. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. We'll sing it in Hebrew, and then we'll sing it in English, and I believe the words will come up for you in English, and then we'll sing it in Hebrew at the end. Olam chesed yibaneh. When we listen to each other with our hearts open, God lives in this place. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. 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 Now the English. I will build this world from love, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. And you must build this world from love, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. And if we build this world from love, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 then God will build this world from love, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. And in Hebrew, Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-nai, nai, 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 nai.
So beautiful. Thank you both. This is a special time in our service when we invite you to come forward to share a joy or concern in your life. If you are watching us, at the bottom of your screen, there's a participants command that will bring up a list of participants. And at the bottom of that list is a command to raise a hand. So raise your hand if you want to share a joy or a concern. If you are here on a phone, just you can raise your hand by pressing *9. So either way, just raise a hand if you'd like to speak, and I'll ask you to speak in your turn. If you have your camera turned off, you might want to turn it on. when it's your time to speak. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. I jumped ahead. It is time for all ages. So let's go to Zach now. And we'll ask all the young and young at heart to please come up and get close to the screen because Zach is going to share time for all ages. Zach?
Hi, thanks, Allison. Nice catch there. Good morning, everybody. And a very special welcome today to Rabbi Miriam and to Lisa Kent and Danny. I'm sorry, Danny, I missed your last name. From the Danforth Jewish Circle. We're very glad that you could all join us today. So today we're talking about Hanukkah. And one thing that I did not know about Hanukkah that I learned this week was its meaning. I did not know that Hanukkah means dedication. So I found out that Hanukkah means to be completely committed to some task or purpose, which really makes sense if you think about the story of Hanukkah. It took a great amount of dedication for Matthias Maccabee to raise an army of Jewish people. And when he died, it took a great amount of dedication for his son Judah to take over and lead. Definitely pushing Antiochus and the Greeks out of Israel with their much smaller army took great dedication by the Jewish people. But they managed it, and pushing the Greeks out was the first miracle of Hanukkah, the first miracle of their dedication. After they won back their land, the Jewish people went to their temple, their dedicated holy site, the place they would go to worship and talk to God in their way, much like we do here. And unfortunately, they found it ruined. The Greeks had trashed the temple, broken the furniture, left garbage all over the place, and put up altars to their own gods. Well, after that, the Jewish people dedicated themselves to the task of cleaning up their temple. They got rid of all the mess and the garbage. They took down the Greek altars and they cleaned everything. They were still dedicated to the purpose of the temple and what it meant to them. They wanted to do a ceremony at the newly cleaned temple to rededicate it to God. But they were only able to find enough oil in to light the candles for one night. And they knew it would take much longer than that to get more oil. But their dedication was strong, and they lit the oil in the candles anyway, and it burned for 8 whole nights, long enough for them to get more oil. And that's the second miracle of Hanukkah. And neither of these miracles would have happened if the Jewish people hadn't been dedicated enough to try something that seemed impossible. I wondered what we might learn if we followed this idea of dedication. I wonder what each of us might dedicate ourselves to. With the coming of winter and yet more need to stay inside, it's a perfect time to think about dedicating yourself to something. I wonder what you might turn to. What task or purpose could you find? You might dedicate yourself to something fun or to something serious. You might dedicate yourself to helping people or to just making sure you stay okay. Whatever it might be is something only you can say for yourself. But I wonder what miracles might happen if we dedicated ourselves to something. Because if there's one thing I've learned from this story of Hanukkah, it's that when you're really dedicated to something and you never give up, anything can happen. That's all the time we have for this morning. But I hope that you've learned a little bit about the power of dedication, about the power of Hanukkah. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Zach. And now we will move to joys and concerns, a cherished time in our community. I ask people to raise a hand if they have a joy or concern to share. I ask that we also respect the sacredness and refrain from making announcements and telling stories during this ritual. It's a cherished time in our community that brings us closer in times that are separating us. I'd like to lift up in gratitude all the volunteer efforts, seen and unseen, that help our community to hold together. I'd like to lift up with joy and gratitude, all the beauty and teachings associated with the sacred time of Hanukkah. I want to lift up our seventh principle on the seventh day of Chanukah and thank all who preserve and strengthen the web of all existence, of which we are a part.
A few days ago, I woke up at 2:35 a.m. I don't know if this happens to you, but sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I find it hard to go back to sleep. I look at the clock. I don't even know why I look at the clock. When I wake up so early and Joan, my partner, is still asleep, it's easy to think and worry. I worry about my children and about the people I know who are having a hard time. I worry about people in the congregation as we struggle. I worry about the times I've not been my best self. And in my sleeplessness, I replay the ways I could have been a better person, the ways I might have allowed the better angels of my nature to touch the earth. I do it all in the dark. And in a way, I've grown to love the dark, and I'm not afraid. You see, in the dark, with no one to see me, I can remember when I was not my best self. Without anyone to criticize me, I can accurately look at my failings. The dark offers to hide me, allowing me to reflect on my own regrets, and I have many. The dark can also be the place I go to heal. When my heart is broken and when my body is in pain, it's to the darkness I go. I want to withdraw from the world sometimes, to myself, in order to give my body and my heart time to heal. Maybe you too have brought yourself to a darkened bedroom as you sip tea waiting for a virus or a heartbreak to heal, because the darkness is often the place we go to heal. You know, as we think about the darkness, there are other things about it too. It's the darkness where we go to sleep. We lay down, allowing our body to rest and our brain to remove the plaque buildup on our neurons. Without sleep, we cannot think well. Our bodies are unable to work. And in only a few days, we would hallucinate if we didn't sleep. For me, in the darkness, I sleep best. The quiet and dark is a signal offering me permission to let go of the cares of the day and the slings and arrows we find there. Finally, it's to the darkness that I go to dream. Every dream is not good, and like you, I have had my share of nightmares, those dreams that make you withdraw from life. Yet I have also had dreams that predict my future, dreams that offer me deep love, and dreams that help me believe life is worthwhile for an entire lifetime. Dreams have made me believe there's a world around me that exceeds my knowledge and my grasp, yet invites me to live and grow again and again and again, offering awareness I sometimes can't imagine. When I wake up at 2:35 and can't go back to sleep, it helps to know that I love the darkness. The moonlight often streams in a window near our bed, and I can often watch the tree branch filigree move back and forth across the gray clouds. It's like a dance. I can write my dreams down in an old book so I can make sense of them the following morning. Sometimes I have ideas for Sunday reflections that come surprisingly easy when I'm quiet and awake in the dark. When my awareness and my awakeness come together at 2:35 a.m. and I am unable to sleep, think, or watch, I turn on old podcasts of meditation teachers offering meditation instruction in their monotonous voices, and it puts me instantly to sleep. I imagine we create festivals of light in these darkest days because the dark can be so oppressive. It can be so heavy and foreboding, but that does not mean we have to reject or fear the darkness. In our previous home on Hiawatha, we had quotes up on the beams that held up the roof. I hope we do that in our new home too. One of those quotes was from Carl Jung, and I hope we put it up on the walls again. And he said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but rather by making the darkness conscious. I believe he meant that we need to love the darkness, not only the night, but the darkness of ourselves in order to live consciously. Many spiritual traditions believe we can only become enlightened when the duality of good and bad, right and wrong, light and dark is loved and understood equally. Because when we understand that right and wrong, right and left, white and black, male and female need to be equally held, equally loved, only then can we see beyond our differences to our humanity. Jung wanted to see, he wanted us to see beyond our habits. And I imagine this is why Martin Luther King said that he looked for a day when people would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We can do this only when we notice the difference between us. Because when we see the difference, we can also see the beauty in our skin colors, so we can see past those to our common humanity. When we look at the dark as part of the wholeness in a day, the wholeness of a life, the wholeness of a planet, maybe sometimes we can see just a little bit beyond the duality that we constantly live in. It's a breaking of our habits in our thought and perception. This is a time of meditation, and I have a short meditation, and I'll play the flute, and I hope it works through Zoom. And maybe if you just rest, imagine yourself in the dark and in the light. Take a breath. can just continue resting while Lisa and Danny bring us into more music.
Anna Elna Refanala. We ask the source of life, please now heal and strengthen us in body and mind and in spirit. I'll sing you the first part and have you echo it just so you can sing part of it with me. Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Refanala, Refanala, Anna Elna, Anna Elna, Refanala, Refanala. Take a moment and think of someone or many others that are suffering right now that you are ready to plead for with your whole heart. May we all be healed. May we all be whole. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be aligned with the one. Thank you so much for inviting me to be with you this morning. Reverend Wayne, it's such a pleasure to continue to get to know you and connect with you. And this community, I'm so looking forward to our ongoing partnership and our deepening friendship. I'd like to share some thoughts about the light in connection with Reverend Wayne's beautiful reflections on darkness. You know, it's not surprising that most of us love light. We love a bright sunny day and prefer it to a day that's dark and cloudy. It's not surprising that we delight in days of long hours of light and often have more energy and feel more vitality than we do in these darker days. I would guess that when we see a friend with light shining in their eyes, we can tell that they are alive with joy and delight.
And we can tell when a friend is sad or grieving, struggling with illness or pain. We can literally see the darkening in their eyes. And we hope that that experience passes with ease. With these experiences, it's natural that light has become such a potent metaphor for joy, for vitality, for hope, as well as for moral qualities of goodness, of love, at odds with forces of oppression and hate that so often are dressed in metaphors of darkness. I know that I can feel urgent about the light sometimes, turning on all the lights in the house when I get up on a dark morning and I'm trying to shake out of sleep and break the darkness. At this time of year, I know I have a tendency to complain and to contract as it gets dark earlier and earlier. I feel resistance surfacing in me, and I can tell that it's not a state of being that is helpful. I'm a strong person, but my resistance does not change the darkness. And it certainly isn't helpful or elevating to my mood. Reverend Wayne, I so appreciate your reflections about the darkness, reminding us that there are deep gifts to be gathered in the dark, gifts that are only available at night and in the early hours of the morning, in those realms of softer boundaries, fluid consciousness, healing hibernation. You also point us so wisely toward the practice of befriending, of loving the difficult experiences that are associated with the metaphor of darkness, sadness, loss, struggle, failings, experiences that many of us have a tendency to dislike, to try to alter or avoid or push away. Instead of fighting against those experiences, I know that if I can lean into them, if I can meet them with an open and compassionate heart, then I begin to know those forms of darkness, not as experiences to grit my teeth against, to hold my breath against, and wait for them to be over. Instead, I can grow my capacity to meet the world, to meet my inner life fully, as they truly are, instead of as I wish they were. I think that's what it means to choose life, to choose the fullness of life. We are entering a long, dark winter with COVID restrictions, with a range of struggles and challenges. If we can make it our practice to soften toward it rather than gripping against it, it may offer a gentler way to move through it. And when we can transform our relationship with the darkness, it also, I think, transforms our relationship with light. I think about times I've spent in a cabin in the woods. It takes me several days for my body to get used to the absence of city lights, of street lights, to be surrounded by so much darkness at night and to not feel afraid of it. It's become my regular practice when I go to the woods to stand outside at night, allowing myself to feel afraid, to be with the unfamiliar sounds, to slowly find my footing, walking along the mossy, dark paths. After a few nights, the fear mostly falls away. My eyes adjust to the shapes. But what I also begin to notice are the subtleties of light. Moonlight scattered on the path, and finding it remarkable that moonlight actually casts shadows. I notice stars visible in the gaps in the high tree boughs, and I suddenly notice all the amazing lightning bugs flashing and darting. And then when I emerge from the woods and stand under the clear sky, I'm knocked breathless by the brightness of the constellations and the silver shining moon. As a Jew, the practices of Chanukah offer tremendous wisdom, and I think they offer wisdom for all of us. Of all the Jewish holidays, Chanukah is quite minor, and its practices are simple and minimal. There are some special Torah readings and readings from the prophets. There are some additional prayers in the daily services, but the central practice entails waiting until it's dark outside, putting our Chanukah in the window so passers-by will be able to see the candles, and lighting the candles. We're prohibited from using the light for any ordinary purpose. Not reading by the light, not seeing by the light. All we do is gaze at it. What is this subtle, quiet action meant to do? What's it for? The great Hasidic teacher of the 18th century, Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, comments on the instructions that we have from the Talmud about when we're supposed to light the candles. The Talmud says that we light them anytime from sunset until the last foot, the last regel, has left the marketplace. So from sunset to the moment when there are no more people walking around outside, no more feet. Well, this Hasidic master, Levi Yitzchak, plays with the word regel, foot, and says that these instructions are not merely pointing to the timing of the lighting, but pointing to the spiritual experience we're being invited into. The Hebrew word regel, foot, is connected to the word hergel, habit. We are to light the candles until there is no more habit of perception, no more unconscious or ordinary seeing. He explains there are two kinds of miracles, revealed and hidden. Revealed miracles are like those connected to Pesach, Passover, plagues, splitting of the sea, an overturning of the natural order. Hidden miracles, however, don't change anything about the natural order. If you're not attuned, you might miss them. You would think that the unfolding of events are totally ordinary. But he says, in fact, the divine is present, moving through. He refers to the miracle of Chanukah, this small band of Maccabee rebels, victorious over the great Greek army, able to recapture the temple and Jerusalem and gain independence and religious freedom. Well, you could see that victory as the result of entirely human strength or dumb luck, but in fact, it was only on account of the divine moving through them that the Maccabees succeeded. Then he goes on to say, some might think that the rising of the sun in the morning is ordinary, the moon rising at night, ordinary. But in fact, none of it is ordinary. It is all remarkable, all worthy of wonder. This next breath, all of this is only possible moment by moment through the constant presence of the divine, creating and recreating this wondrous universe, this very moment, this next breath. Chanukah is teaching us to wait for the darkness, to enter the darkness, to meet it with gentle, subtle light. Chanukah is teaching us to quietly gaze at the candles until these small flickering lights alter how we see, how we perceive everything, until we see that nothing is ordinary. This existence is a miracle. We practice gazing at the lights until our eyes are remade for wonder. This is also what we are called upon to make visible to one another. We put the Chanukah in our windows. We ignite a sense of wonder, a sense of the miraculous within ourselves, and we mirror it to one another. We don't transform the darkness by blasting it with light, but by transforming how we perceive the darkness, how we perceive the light, by opening our eyes, opening our hearts to see wonder everywhere we turn. May that be our blessing in this winter, in these dark months, to open our eyes, to open our hearts, to perceive wonder wherever we turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi Miriam. A good reflection and reminder to take us forward. In these times of isolation, let us not forget that our congregation is a living entity. And like all living things, it must have nurture and sustenance. When we cherish somebody or something, we do take care to ensure its well-being. So please consider how you can show your care and support for Neighborhood. I have just been informed this morning that our new website is now has the PayPal function available, but so you can go to the webpage, but you can always also send a check or make an e-transfer, and you would send that to office@nuuc.ca. Thank you. So now I will ask Lisa to lead us in our final song. Lisa?
In this year, more than in recent years, we've been made to see beyond ourselves, the cracks and holes in our society. Its repressive structures have been laid bare. And in this year, we have witnessed the resilience, fearlessness, and generosity of so many souls. Holly Near's I Am Willing offers us the hope and prayer to accept the changes we need to bring forward. And I just learned that Holly Near is a Universalist. So please sing along. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. There is a hurting in my family, and there is sorrow in my town. There is a panic all across the nation, and there is wailing the whole world round. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change. Give me a mighty oak to hold my confusion, and give me a desert to hold my fears. Give me a sunset to hold my wonder. Give me an ocean to hold my tears. But I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us. So lift me up to the light of change.
Thank you. We love that song. Thank you, Lisa and Danny. So I have our chalice, which I will extinguish as we sing our chalice extinguishing song. Although the chalice has been darkened, we hold the fire within our own hearts. We have a tradition of circling round and holding each other's hands. So instead, today, let's switch to gallery view, and we can share a venerable Eastern greeting. In India, it's called the Namaste, which means I salute the spirit within you. Congregation of Neighbourhood, Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Ramapi.
Namaste.
Namaste. And make which stay.
Namaste.
Namaste.
So today I will leave you with words from Shincho, a 13th century Japanese Buddhist monk. He says, do we really have to fret about enlightenment? No matter what road I travel, I'm going home. Our service has ended. With the breakout rooms, just a reminder, if you're new to Neighborhood and you want to connect with our staff, when you have the prompt to join a breakout room, you can opt for later, and you will remain in the main room, and our minister Wayne will be there and can help you find out more about us. To everyone, go with the lights of home and spirit glowing in your heart and mind. And remember, we are always walking and lighting the way for each other home. Please go in peace.